Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Please feel free to share this live video with your friends, especially those who are single. And we are excited about this day. Hope you had a great week. This session is going to be focusing on dating and relationship conversations. So I made an exciting announcement earlier this week that I'm writing a book, or I've written a book on dating and relationship. I'm really excited about this. It's a major passion of mine to be able to impart knowledge and be able to advise or support singles in their journey towards finding their own life partners. I believe that for everyone who desires it, it is something that is possible, and you can get just the right person for you at the right time, with the right mindset. Having lessons that have been learned and observations and just things that are going on around us, there's always something to share. And so I'm happy to bring this book to life to be able to use it to guide people. So it's basically on dating and relationship. So we've seen a lot of, challenges out in the world, just challenges people are going through, in the dating scene. First, knowing what to do. A lot of people will go to Google, what do I need to do? What should I look for? Who's the right person to look for? How would I know the right person? Even in terms of timing, you see people ask Google what time, like how much time should you do this? Or if there are challenges in your relationship, you start wondering how to handle those things. But do we always get the right answers from those different sources? Even sometimes, talking to other people, it's just sometimes we're just going through the motions, or again, I use the word trial and error sometimes. And you see people scrambling and struggling in that phase of life, trying to figure it all out. And it doesn't really have to be, it doesn't have to be so difficult. But when you have that support or insight that can be helpful, it can help to guide the decisions we make. So that's part of the reason we're doing this today. Starting off with dating and relationship. And in my book, really, I highlight what is the difference? What's dating? What is being in a relationship? Very often we'll see people talk about dating and use it interchangeably with, hey, I'm dating someone, or I'm in a relationship. So going over what dating and relationship is all about. Dating, really, there are people that will find themselves in a dating phase and they'll call themselves being in a relationship, but they're still in a dating phase while trying to figure it out. If you're in a relationship where you really don't know where it's going yet, you haven't put any definition to it, we're just kind of enjoying ourselves. We're just, hanging out whenever we can. There's really no definition, there's no clear route, there's no clear destination, there's no goal for that relationship. Sometimes people are finding themselves in that dating. They're not even sure if that's someone they want to be with. So that's one thing that we want to address, looking at, are you in that dating phase? And dating, with the literal meaning of dating in the dictionary, is just meeting up with someone, setting up a meeting and meeting up with someone. That's what dating is about. So if you look at it, the earliest stage of a relationship, or of people just trying to figure out who they can possibly be with, is that dating phase. Trying to see and, get to know that person and know, hey, do I want to go into this relationship with this person? That's the dating phase. Going from there, even before dating, there are many things that people have to have in place before going into dating or even thinking about dating. And we don't talk about that. I've also found, being a Christian, also, there are different rules that you live by when you are dating. But all of these things seems all mumbled together, and trying to figure it out and dissect everything can be very challenging. So definitely just looking at what people need to do or have in place while dating, it's important to have the right mindset. Have the right mindset. Do you even need to date in the first place? Why do you want to date? People just want to date because maybe it's time, especially for people in high school. They want to date because, Everybody else is doing it. And there are even some young adults who really, in their heart of hearts, might not feel ready or prepared to date, but they find themselves just like, okay, I need to do it now. So not having the right mindset. And even with movies or things you found, you feel like, oh, love is that thing you need to seek, you need to find it. And so we're looking around for love when we're supposed to focus on ourselves or focus on some principles that builds us. So in my opinion, and even with my book, as I've highlighted, is to identify yourself, identify your core values before you even think of dating. Before you think of finding someone to be with, you need to look at who you are first. Do you even know who you are? Have you fallen in love with yourself first? Are you having the right mindset? Like, where are you in life? Do you have personal goals for yourself that you want to achieve before you start looking for love? What goes into the core of you? I believe that is very important to have certain things in place for you before you think about dating. What really has prompted me to write a book, really, it's something that's been in my mind for years. And really, in my work with young adults, I would do sessions or do presentations on relationship. And the more I go into it, like year after year, that feeling never went away. And there was always a need for it. Always a need for it that I couldn't ignore anymore. And it was time to just put the book together. I had to go through my own personal journey, learn some hard lessons, and some lessons that I had to take with me that I believe also looking around us, looking at what people go through and the challenges of the day. And even more scary is the rate of divorce that people are experiencing today in our world. And if we don't start tackling it from the level of dating, there would be higher rates of divorce later in the future. You think you have high rates of divorce right now. Even people are not trying to get married right now. So that's even the fear. That's the fear. Right now, you're seeing divorce rate, even having the right mindset. I believe most of the challenges people are having in marriages right now have their roots in single days. Like the mindset people have towards marriage. When some people see their parents' marriage or their uncle's marriage or their cousin's marriage, they'll be like, no way, I am not going there. And it doesn't have to be scary. When we start looking at having the right insight in place while dating, then you'll be able to prepare your mind better for marriage. So what do we have to have in place? Talked about before even dating. I believe that you need to find yourself. It is very important. If you don't know yourself, don't know what you stand for, don't know where you're going, a relationship is not going to do that for you. It's just like having someone that is incomplete without direction. And really, you don't have to be perfect, but have an idea, really, right? Have an idea, have a mindset that helps you to have a good outlook on life. And that gets you going before even thinking about dating. Even for a Christian or whatever religion you have to look at, are you connecting with that higher power? For me, it's God. Are you connecting? Like, are you having your core in your values? What pumps life into you? And find your strength and your joy and your purpose in what you stand for. Stand for something. So no matter what comes your way, you use those standards also. You apply those into whatever you're looking for, maybe in your dating life. So I think those are very important. And then now going to dating and being in a relationship. The dating phase, if people are able to take it quite literally, should be a time that you just enjoy being single and also try to find people that you can potentially be with. And it doesn't have to be rushed. It doesn't mean that if one person comes, I just jump into it and that's it. You know, you could have people who come, maybe a guy or a girl that you might be interested in. And sometimes there might be even multiple people at that time, but you get to see, okay, who would I be interested in? It could be possible that you go on a date and try to get to know the person. Hey, is this even someone I want to be with? And that's a plain level, like being on a plain level with the person, being in a place where you're just able to talk and try to get to know them. And really, maybe within the first meeting or by the second meeting, you would at least see some traits that you would probably like or maybe not like. And if you don't, the dating phase is supposed to be a place where you do your elimination. Like eliminate people who you need to eliminate and add people that you need to add to your life. And determine if that's a person that you want to spend your time with. Like for me, when I was dating, I always have like an end goal in mind. If you're not someone that I can possibly go into marriage with, if you're not someone I can go into marriage with, I wouldn't even consider dating. I won't. That's just me as a person. Because I don't know how to play with my heart. I don't know how to play yo-yo with my heart. So I'm not even going to mess with it. So, and that's also, I would advise that, for people who are dating, go with your antennas up and go with your listening ears, with your open eyes, trying to find out, hey, is this someone that I could possibly end up with? If you don't see that person being maybe like their core values, and that's why I said, if you have values and standards you set for yourself, you start looking at your checklist. And that's another thing. Having an idea of what you're looking for, a checklist. That's realistic. That's another issue, another topic of its own. Some checklists are very unrealistic. They're not, people are looking for Jesus these days or looking for a deity that doesn't exist. And so they're looking for years and they're not getting it. In that dating phase, it'll be at that time for you to funnel and to zero your focus. So you might have a wide array of people looking or people that are open to you or that you feel like are possible, that are your way or options. It doesn't mean that all of them need to have a place in your life. You don't have space for everybody in your life. So you just have to have your funnel vision. I will use that word, funnel vision, to look at, hey, does this person have the major core values? What is on your no compromise list? What is something that is a no-no for you that is going to be a deal breaker? If this person doesn't have this certain values. Like for me, my number one thing was finding a God-fearing man. And guess what? It also depends on your definition of God-fearing. If you're a Christian and you're looking at, hey, I'm looking for a Christian, that's number one thing, right? And so there are many kinds of Christians. There are many people who claim to be Christians. And how do you even sift past that level of, I'm a Christian? That's where you have to have your funnel vision. Again, you have to have your core values and develop insights in your mind and think about things that are very important to you and be rooted in whatever you stand for, so you can know exactly what you're looking for. We've seen people who disguise to be what they're not, and so people get deceived. So things are not always as they seem. I would identify that and I would zero in on that and I would hammer that. Things and people are not always who they seem on the surface level. So that's where we have to be careful and also prayerfully tackle and address that going into the dating phase. One major thing that people don't think about is the role that their faith plays in their dating and their relationship life before even dating. As you're finding yourself, whatever you stand for, whatever religion you are in, you should have your identity with that religion that builds who you are. Like if I don't have, I've identified for me as a Christian that my relationship with God needs to needs to be a reflection of the relationship I desire. I didn't learn this earlier in life. I did not. And if you don't learn that and you call yourself a Christian and you want to date and you want to find the God-fearing man and you want to find a God-fearing woman and you want to find a person after God's heart and you don't even know what God's heart is, how are you going to know who's after God's heart? It's not going to happen. So we have to look at how we want to find our base, our core. That's your foundation. So if you're building a relationship or you're dating without a base foundation, it's not going to go anywhere. What is your foundation? What is that base for you? And that's my challenge for people today. When you're dating, what have you neglected? Like, have you let go and not focused on what builds you and what goes into you? I've learned that if you don't let God start with you and you call yourself a child of God, He will try as much as possible to support you, but not until you yield yourself to Him, you won't get that desired result. Okay, you might get your own result, but your result isn't God's plan. So we don't have to take the Israelites' journey just to avoid taking that Israelites' journey into the wilderness and wandering apart about. It's very important that we start with God and be firm with Him. I believe that the core of the love we look for is in God, because God is love. And I highlight this in my new book. Your number one thing, you have to start with God. It's the beginning. He's the beginning and and the end of everything. Start right there with God. Build your relationship. Fall in love with God. He desires it so much that it becomes the standard for whoever you meet. For the woman you're looking for the man you're looking for, because then if you're doing your part and that man or that woman is doing their part, guess what? You will not have to struggle. You will not have to struggle to try to figure out, does this person love God? Or does this person have love on the inside of them? No, because God is love. So the love you seek, God is the love you seek. The love you seek in a human being, if they don't have God in them, it would never be enough. And may I just break it to you that no human being can truly, truly complete you. No human being can make you whole. No human being can make you complete, except God. So we have to start with being whole in our singleness, both man and woman. Being whole, love yourself, take your time. See, if you don't have to date, don't date. And really desire that time, use it to pump it into yourself. Be confident. Be in love with you. Be the person that you desire. Be the person that wants to date you. You know what I mean? I asked this question in my book. Would you date you? Look at your life. If you're single right now, and check yourself. Check yourself. Would you date you? Look at the values, the things that you're doing right now. Would you date the person that you are? Of course, we always think we're perfect. We always think that, there's nothing I can change. I'll be perfect for anybody. But there's always something we can work on. And so when you then do what you need to do with you and make you whole, I'm telling you, become more attractive. Naturally attractive. And guess what? You attract the right people. You will not find yourself attracting the wrong people so quickly. And even when the wrong people come to you, it won't be difficult for you to filter them out. Guess what? Because you've done your homework. You've done your homework of identifying your values. You've done your homework of knowing where you're going. And you've done your homework of preparing for what's important to you. And so in your space, you've already had on your requirement. It can be written, it can be written on your face. Really, there's some people that you can just step on their face sometimes. It's called having standards for yourself. And so you start planning and you start looking at, when you then meet a person, approaching it with the right mindset. Where are you going? What are you looking for? Don't be afraid to ask those questions. There are people who are in the dating phase. They cannot ask questions of what do you want? Where are you going? What do you want with me? No, if this is not what you're wanting, if you're not looking towards possibly ending up getting married someday, it's a no. Sorry. I'm not ready to play around. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying no. And it's possible that that challenges some people sometimes, where they would eventually realize that that's what they want to do, but it helps you to stay focused. It helps you to filter the wrong people out, and then be able to tell them, no, I don't want you in my space. And even when you find someone you think can possibly be the person you want to be with, don't think it's over yet. the work has just begun. And so you just have to determine, hey, maybe this is somebody you can possibly date. You've maybe gone on a date, you've gotten to talk to that person a few times, and you both have talked about, hey, this is what we're looking for. This is what I stand for. This is what I do. You get to know them. You get to know, what goes into them, and they get to know you. If you both determine that, hey, there's something great that can come out of this, prayerfully discern, like prayerfully. I would never take prayer out of this. One thing I highlight in my book is sometimes, earlier in my dating life, I'm quick to say no to people that I know that are not who I'm looking for. And sometimes when I meet someone that I feel like, oh, okay, this is somebody I can possibly date, then I go pray about it. And in some of those cases too, God has challenged me to realize that, was that you just presenting your agenda to me? Did you really wait? Did you really wait for a response? Or did you conclude? And that's my challenge to anyone that is single right now. Or you're dating. It's a question to you. Whoever you're with, did you really wait for an answer? And when you got your answer, were you convinced that you got the right answer? Or did you get an answer that told you to no, and you're like, well, I like this, I'm just going to go along with it. I haven't seen someone who's asked me on a date in a while, so I'm just going to say yes. Or I don't know when the next person's going to show up. Or this can be a placeholder. No, there are no placeholders in human beings. I'm sorry. You don't play yo-yo with yourself. And with your time too. You think you're having fun? Like, that's not the time to play and have fun with your life. It's the time to take it seriously. Even when you're single, if you don't need to date, have fun, travel, do what you need to do. Don't tie yourself down. And then when you're dating, don't even tie yourself down either. You're not married yet. Don't tie yourself down. Still focus on you. Still focus on building you, because we're growing in phases. We're going through phases in life. Even for me, who am married right now, I'm still taking my life journey. My husband's taking his life journey. So nobody's goal is stopping the other person. Marriage or being in a relationship is a journey in life that you're taking and you're working through. And you're finding someone you can walk that journey with. Do life together. Is this somebody you want to do life with? Is this somebody that you can stay with through thick and thin? Is this somebody that would stay with me through thick and thin? Is this somebody that, regardless of what happens in life, that I'll still continue to find joy being with? So those are questions that need to come up in our minds, rather than, oh, I'm in love, and we'll see where this is going, and we'll see how it turns out, and we'll see where it takes us. Oh, they're just the best person in life right now. And may I even mention that love is not all it takes. Love is not all it takes sometimes. If it's just a feeling for you, people will say the heart wants what the heart wants. The heart would desire whatever it wants, and then so follow your heart. Your heart can mislead you sometimes. Unfortunately, your heart can mislead you. So you want to make sure that you keep your eyes open, you keep your ears to the ground. You guard your heart while you're also looking and intentionally looking for someone that you let in, the person you let in, and gradually let them in. Don't just open the door of your heart completely that you're not taking caution. Learn who you can grow with. Try to identify things about the person. Think about things about the person that you're with while dating. There are people who are seeing signs while dating and they'll be like, well, that's just who they are. Yes, we're growing, we're learning. Nobody is perfect. But if you had to keep making excuses for things that you're not cool with, if every time there are certain things or behaviors or things you see that don't sit well with you, if it keeps recurring and recurring and you've tried to address and they're not changing, it's time to ask yourself, is this what I'm looking for? And we should get to that point. In whatever we're doing, you should always assess. People don't assess. The importance of assessment is like highlighted, is very important. Assess yourself. Am I who I want to be? Is my relationship where it needs to be? Is it going as well as it needs to go? And is this person I'm with, are they who they say they are? And are we complementing each other? Compliment. So I talked about a relationship doesn't complete you. It wouldn't complete you, but it will complement who you are. Assessing is very important. I talked about in my book how when God created things, everything he created, after he created it, it would say, it is good. It is good. It is good. That was an assessment, in my opinion. God assessed and saw that, hey, I created this, and it looked at it like, that is good. So can you look at your relationship and that person you're with and say, that is good? And say, this person is good for me? If your answers are no sometimes, then you have to ask. You have to talk about it, address it, and see how you can change that. And if it doesn't, I would pause there. Changing is not in your hands. And you don't determine and tell people, yes, you can work on, hey, can you make improvements on this? Or I don't like this or whatever. But if people are comfortable with who they are and they're not willing to change certain things and it doesn't make you happy, brother and sister, that's a time for you to sit down and ask yourself, is this something I want to live with for the rest of my life? Is this something is this something I can deal with? Is this something that I think is going to be conducive for me to stay in? If your answer is a no, it's okay to break up. It's really okay. It's okay. So that's why I said transitioning from dating to being in a relationship, the work is not done yet. You're still assessing. You're still trying to see, is this the person I want to be with? Why do people get into the stage of planning their weddings? Like, there are people who are already planning their weddings and they break it. There are people right at the altar, they're like, no, I'm not doing this. Like, if we're doing what we need to do prior to being there, we would have seen all those signs and it wouldn't have to amplify. And I hate to break it to you, it will be worse in marriage. Like, whatever you don't like right now and they're not willing to change, marriage is not going to fix it. Marriage will not just wave a magic wand and just poof it out. We have to think about what is really going to work for us and address those things and be true to ourselves. And I would wrap up with that word, be true to yourself. Watch out for you. Don't just place somebody else above you. And I mean it in a way, don't diminish yourself. And don't lower your standard just because you're looking for love. Don't kill yourself physically, mentally, just because you're looking for love. There are people in relationships, in marriages, that doesn't really make them happy, and they're just going with the flow. But if we're doing our work of prevention right from the start now, then we can save ourselves the headache later. We can save ourselves the decision of trying to divorce in the future. So think about it at this time. Let's build great marriages. It is possible for you. And if you're at that stage where you're looking for the right person, they're not here yet. or you haven't found them yet, just keep being diligent. Find things to do. Please, you can't just stay in your room and expect to be discovered. You have to make yourself marketable. I use that word. Make yourself marketable. Whatever that means to you. Marketing. Maybe you should research it. Marketable, like place yourself, position yourself in the right place where you can be discovered. Right place, I said, because there are people going in different places, and you would find what you're looking for in the places you're looking for. What kinds of people are in the places you're looking for, and what kind of person are you looking for? What kind of person is that potential husband or wife you're looking for? And the places you've been looking for, is that where those kind of people hang out? Is that where you find those kind of people? So that's another thing to think about. And think about, again, who are you attracting as you're marketing yourself? Who's your targeted audience? That's one thing that's important in marketing language. You have to have your targeted audience. Who are you targeting? Some people want a certain kind of woman or guy. However, your life is not what they would desire, or whatever you're displaying about yourself is not attracting the kind of person you're looking for. That's where you have to check yourself too and ask yourself, am I targeting the right audience? And the results you've been getting should tell you how you've been marketing yourself, because you would get what you're seeking for and what you've put yourself out for. So whatever you're marketing yourself for is what you get the result of. So I'd just like to mention that, and I will wrap up here today. I'm willing to take questions as we wrap up our session today. And I apologize, our guest is not able to join us today, but look forward to our session next week. And we have Jeremy Chase with us. He's the founder of Sex Can Wait a While. I want to talk about these things. And some subjects are no, and certain things can be like, oh, don't do this or don't do that. Why? How? We need to start being open about this thing so people don't have to, struggle through it. When we learn, we know better. When we know better, we do better. So it is important to kind of hear what people need to learn and what people need to consider. And if there are questions you have, please go ahead and ask. And if you want to join and come up and join the session, we can have a conversation or put a question in the comment section and we can talk about it. So I announced my book launch. I announced that this week and really excited about it. So I just like to welcome you to prepare with me. Get the word out. My goal more than anything, besides the accomplishment of writing a book, my goal is to be able to provide a relationship and dating guide, to see how it can help other people and to see how it can bless life. So that is my goal for that. And I believe that God has placed that on the inside of me when he has taken me through some journey and taken me through some lessons in life. And I believe this is the time to put it out, to use it to bless other people. I believe that God wants to do great and mighty things. He wants to build marriages for themselves. I'd like to mention again, it doesn't matter what you've experienced. It doesn't matter how the past have been. It doesn't matter who you've met. It doesn't matter how the relationships have been. God still has a plan for you. I want to tell you, remember after Adam and Eve had fallen, imagine how God still was able to bless them. Imagine how God was still able to support them. Even though he drove them out of the Garden of Eden because the plan kind of changed, there was still provision for them. So it is not over until it's over. And I'd like to encourage you. It doesn't matter what relationship you've been in. Start finding your identity in God. And I tell you, it would show you the right person for you. It would literally show you the right person for you. And when that person comes, you would not have a doubt on the inside of you. You know what you would have? God, are you serious? Is this it? You would not stress, you would not sweat. So I advise you at this point, rest your mind. Rest your mind. Don't struggle. Don't try. Don't help God. Don't help him help you find the person. Stay in your calling. Do what you're supposed to do. Build yourself. If you need to go to school, go to school. If you need to learn certain things, learn certain things. If you need to be more active in your church, be active in your church. If you need to help people more, help. Now, if you need to smile more, smile more. Some people are chasing their potential partner away because you're always squeezing your face and you're not always welcoming. And that guy is scared. There's some guy, God, there's some guys that are shy. Seriously, there are guys that are shy. And if you're always squeezing your face and you're always looking like you want to beat somebody up, they're not going to come and talk to you. So please, be at least nice. At least, please help the guy to be able to access you. I ask of you. Yeah, I put that word, don't help God there. Don't help God help you. I'm telling you, I had to realize that when you struggle with God, you're not letting him work. And I will tell you today, God will not take from you anything that you hold on to so tightly. God will not set your list for you, but he can guide you. He gave us our self-will. However, he wants us to willingly submit our will to him so he can take over. So that's one thing I would like to advise you today. Submit it all to God. That person you're looking for, say, God, my desires, my fear, my future partner, my future marriage, I leave it all to you. Take control. I'm telling you, it just goes to work when you're sleeping. Why did God put Adam to sleep? He doesn't want people struggling with him. You don't get the results that God wants for you when you are trying to be in control. You can be active, watching and waiting. That's what they call it, watching and waiting. You can be active by doing your part of making yourself marketable, being in the right place, having the right attitude, but submitting it all to God. And even when you meet someone and you're still letting God confirm to you, that's where you see how God just transforms things. He put Adam to sleep and he crafted this woman and he crafted her and he took time and he built her up and he positioned her. And then Adam woke up and he saw her. And God didn't even have to say anything anymore at that time. End of discussion. God didn't have to do anything more. He had done it and he positioned them and bam, they hit it off. So our timing, our everything, it doesn't take God more than a second, a twinkle of an eye to turn things around. So let go of your fear, your anxiety, like just looking forward to I want, and let God. Let him work it out. Let him wow you. Say, God, I want you to wow me. Like even start praying for that future partner. Some of you, you're in relationships that God has not given to you. And really, if it's not God's will, it would be best that you let it go. But you have to pray for God's strength. I understand. I've been there. Like pray for strength. Pray for strength. One prayer I pray to God, appointed God, time in my life is, God, no matter how much I get in your way, please take the will. Let your will be done. Pray for that strength so that you can fulfill God's purpose for your life. When we don't let God take the wheel, we are the ones that suffer the consequences, unfortunately. We burn ourselves very hard. And unfortunately, God is there feeling sorry for us, but he can't do anything unless we are ready.